Hello there. Right, let's get one thing straight. Ordinary folk do not form patrols in order to harass other people. They form patrols out of love for their families, friends, and communities. Busy people only form patrols when they feel their loved ones are potentially threatened. And the ordinary folk of Crowborough in Essex felt they feel threatened in the face of a 37-acre former army camp on their doorstep being converted to house 600 male migrants, that they have decided to set up a patrol to be a visible deterrent to any, as they term it, unwanted activity. And here's what the Daily Mail had to say about it. Furious residents set up vigilante group in Crowborough amid plans to house 600 adult male migrants in army camp. Vigilantes? People, as I've said, in Britain do not go around forming vigilante groups. This is for protection. They're too busy to go around harassing people. What they want to do is have a nice life. But if they have to protect their own people, they will. And here's some more of what the Daily Mail had to say. Worried residents, yes, that's exactly right, worried residents have set up a vigilante group in a town that is set to house 600 adult male migrants in an army camp. The Crowborough Patrol will wander the town centre day and night wearing high-vis jackets and red baseball caps. They say they want to be a visible deterrent to prevent any unwanted activity and protect families and children. So, yes, I just say to them, why do you keep calling them vigilantes? Why does anybody say that? In short, having listened to the lived experience of those who already have those types of accommodation centres in their midst, the people of Crowborough are determined to protect their women and children before anything happens in their community. And, of course, the woke Marxists will vilify them for it. But worse, the repurposed camp had been used to train army cadets up until very recently. Here we are in desperate need of beefing up our defences and getting willing and keen youngsters into the armed forces, and we shut down a military training ground and hand it over to fighting-aged men from around the world to come and go as they please from. And no doubt many of these will have thrown their documentation into the water as they swander across the channel. And I can tell you, you'll never find as keen a bunch of people in this country than our armed forces cadets. What a great message to put out to our budding soldiers. What do you reckon about all of this, Richard?
Thank you, Jeff. Indeed. You see, Crowborough, right now, it's already living, I should say, really, with, it's living in fear. And soon, that very same fear will be felt in every town and village across the United Kingdom. Women in Crowborough right now, this is the thing, okay? They're already buying panic alarms, okay? Panic alarms for their homes before a single one of these refugees and asylum seekers, before one of those has even arrived. You just think how this is going to escalate. I mean, just let that sink in, because the fear that these women are experiencing, that's arrived before the refugees. These people who've broken into Britain illegally, who are refugees, of course, who've gone through multiple different countries, but they're still refugees, apparently. Look, call me old-fashioned, but I find 600 unknown adult men being placed into a small community in England with no consent, no sort of discussion with the locals about it. I find it very wrong. I find it very wrong. In fact, I think it's treason. And the people who have approved this move should be held fully to account for their actions. Locals aren't stupid, and like all of us, they have watched what has happened to the country at large when large when groups of these unvetted males are dropped into residential areas, we'll say. They've seen it. We're not stupid. We've all seen it on the telly. We've seen the crime statistics. We've read the papers. We know we've seen the news reports. But the thing is, if you say anything about that, if these people stand up any further, they're branded racist. And I think it was one local in Crowborough who said, oh, these people are vigilantes, and has reported them to the police. I bet he's a popular individual, or she is. Yeah. Over to you, Jeff.
Yes. So I would just point at this particular from Vince Hillman. Thank you very much, Vince, for saying this. So, Jeff, you condone breaking the law, do you? No, I don't condone breaking the law. Is the law being broken? No, it's not being broken. No, it hasn't. So, no, I don't condone breaking the law. What they're doing, as we will come on to, is putting out a deterrent. Okay? They're putting out a deterrent to stop anyone breaking the law. Anyone. Okay? Now, I'm assuming that Crowborough was selected specially because they have an overcapacity of school places, doctors' surgeries, translators, and police officers to keep everyone safe. They must have far too many of these wonderful people there so that they can share them out. Well, as far as I can make out, they are just as stretched as everyone else, if not more so. And we have more people in this country right now than ever before in history. More people in this country than ever before. The population is at its largest and is growing every year. But for some weird, obscure reason, we need even more people because we've imported more people. We need more people to supply the workers, to support the workers we've already invited into the country. This does not stack up, ladies and gentlemen, does it? Even the slightest thought about it, you realise what we're importing is people who probably don't work or work to the way that we need them to work for this country to work. It's all going wrong, isn't it?
They will find work. No, Jeff, they will find work. We know where they find work. That's the same way they always find work. We know the type of work they get into. So I'd just like to pick this Vince Hill up again. So, Jeff, you condone breaking the law, do you? I'll just ask, in the spirit of peaceful discussion and debate, do you condone these people who are unvetted breaking into the country illegally and then who we know nothing about? Do you condone them being around, our women and children? And do you condone that? Because I don't. I'd like to know who these men are. We know what human beings are capable of. And that's not a racist comment. It's not a prejudiciary comment. The only prejudice I have here is that these are people I don't know anything about. We have CRB checks in this country, whatever it is, to see if you can work and be alongside vulnerable groups, for instance. So normally we have vetting in this country, but for some reason it's been removed. And let's get this straight. The people of Crowborough are not sort of guessing whether people are, from, let's just say whether these people have good intentions at heart or not. They're not guessing. What they're doing is it's a type of pattern recognition from the hard experience and lived experience from people from other towns and villages across the UK. But our ever so effective police force will be there, won't they? But they can't promise permanent presence on the streets and rapid response or proper coverage, because everyone knows that they are already stretched beyond breaking point and probably arresting somebody out there for an effing tweet. Yeah, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand that when the state sort of steps back from its most basic of duties, ordinary people will instinctively step forward to fill the vacuum to protect their families. But once again, that's racist, isn't it? Whatever your name was, who just asked if we condone breaking the law, because this is not about breaking the law. How is it breaking the law? You know, people do, for instance, you have marshals at rallies. You have marshals. These people aren't police officers. They're there to ensure that everything just runs smoothly. We're not talking, they're not walking around with baseball bats and knives, are they? No. They're high-vis jackets saying, look, I'm here. If you see me, you can walk alongside me. You'll probably be safe. Are these people vetted? I don't know. Hopefully they will be. But yes. Right now, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? What? Sorry, I just don't understand the logic of these people who say, oh, you're condoning breaking the law. What? Jeff?
Yes, it's just common sense when you look at it that what they're doing is a reaction to the ill treatment, the effective ill treatment they're getting from the state. And anyway, as I said, we've now got more people in this country than ever before, and we need even more people because we've got more people. And next year, the employers and the government will say we even need even more people now because we've imported loads of people and we need more people to work for them. And then the following year, it'll be even more. It just keeps going. This one-way escalator of people is not going to end well. It's
and who's
a
paying for
stupid
it?
decision.
Who's paying for all these people to look after the people who we don't know who they are? Who's paying for that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's just a ridiculous situation to be in, really, isn't it?
And also, don't forget a lot of these security guards, Jeff. A lot of these security guards, many of them don't speak English, and you think, how on earth? Who are they? We don't even know who half of them are. They haven't got badges on, a lot of them. We've seen that firsthand. There's no badge. Like, what the is going on here? And, you know, it's not just to say, no, it's not just, it's not just people who are walking the streets to protect the women and children here. People are taking action into their own hand, taking matters into their own hands and committing actions because, well, they want to stop the boats, some of them as well. That's what's going on. Yeah, stopping the boats. There seems to be a general trend here. The system is falling apart. It's letting down people. There we go.
Yeah. And thank you, Gary Plain. They do right looking after themselves. Good evening, boys. Yeah, if no one else is going to look after you, why shouldn't you look after yourselves? If a rich community had lots of people walking in and thieving, they'd build a big wall around them, wouldn't they? And they'd employ private security guards to look after them, wouldn't they? That's exactly what they do.
Yes.
The rich and powerful.
Yeah.
They take action, because they look at the hoi polloi, the ordinary people of Crowborough, and say, oh, they might come and nick everything, so I'm going to build a wall around my community. That's okay, though. That's fine. They can build a community wall around number 10 and number 11 Downing Street. They can put diversity barriers all around Westminster. If you've ever walked along past the Palace of Westminster, there's double fences with armed guards. But the rest of us are meant to take it up the...
Yeah. And Gary Plain as well. Yeah, sorry. Every time I see you, you remind me I've got to email a Gary on the 19th of this month. I've got to remind me to email a Gary on the 19th. Yeah. Sorry. Carry on, Jeff.
And thank you, the Black Nothing. Every day I hear of the onslaught on the British, and every day I pray for you. I have to ask, what is all this for? Power, control, all unattainable. Yeah, I remember a long time ago, someone said, it was an old thing, they said, open your palm, just hold your palm out and pour some quicksilver on it, which is mercury, the mercury metal. Pour it on your palm, in the hollow of your palm. It'll just sit there with your palm open. If you try to grab it and control it, it just squirts out everywhere. You cannot stop it. And that's where we're at. The government is now squeezing hard, and it's surprised when everything starts flowing out. That's a very old
I'm not so sure,
adage,
Jeff. I think this I think that they're in full knowledge of what's happening and in full control, and this is all being set up. That's my personal thoughts on this.
Yeah.
You know, I often think, what's the Christian thing to do in this moment? And then I think, well, I'll tell you what the Christian thing isn't to do, and that's to follow what the Church of England is doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're telling us not to use
Well,
the
they're not.
flags.
They're not a Christian church anymore. It's not a Christian church anymore, so just ignore them. Yeah.
Yes.
And Jonathan Aldridge, thank you very much. We are being exterminated in reverse. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it, I suppose. Yes. Neighbourhood watch, not vigilantes, says Stephen Cockcroft. Now, just going on what Richard just said about these security guards. So let's talk about local employment opportunities, shall we? How many locals will be able to apply for jobs as security guards in that new camp? Why not?
Depends what their surname is.
Area.
Depends
they
on
know
their surname.
the area. They know who
name.
lives there. They know everything. So why not employ them? They probably know the camp. They know what the fence looks like round it. They've all got local knowledge. Employ them. But judging by what I've seen in other camps and hotels around the country, a big fat 0 would seem to be the order of the day, wouldn't it? I would doubt that anyone with any family connections in the area would ever be allowed anywhere near that place. And the local constabulary will be on speed dial as well. Yes.
Yes,
And
only to protect the place. That's the thing. Only to protect the place. The local constabulary will be on speed dial.
From who, though? From who, though?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's a certain population and demographic that the local constabulary will turn up with multiple police vans to protect.
Absolutely.
However, when it comes to children walking home at night, sorry, unless these places have got... I can't do this to be honest any further, because unless those places have got guard towers and bloody razor wire and the gates are shut, we don't know who these people are, right? We don't know who they are. Sorry, I don't care. I don't care if they're white and they've come from, I don't know, Sweden, Norway, for multi-generational. I don't care. Who are these people? If you've broken into Britain illegally, we don't know who you are. You shouldn't be here. You have to go. No camps, no putting up in little villages, no swimming lessons. The only thing you've got is a plane ticket out of here. No spending money upon your arrival back where you came from even. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Breaking illegally, get out.
Yeah, definitely. We should charge them for the exit flight as well.
Yeah.
And thank you, Chinua2584. You have to play the linguistic game and brand it to control the narrative. New York had guardian angels in the 80s. Yeah, I remember that. They were going around on the what do they call it? What do they call it? We call it the tube. It sounds better than vigilantes. Yeah, so yeah. Although, what did they have? Who was that guy with the big tash like mine who went around shooting people who did the wrong thing?
The bloody hell you on about now?
In the films. Oh, look, he's coughing.
What films? What are you on about now? What? People who shot somebody and did the wrong thing. Hang on, what was his name? Oh, Charles Bronson, is it? Is that one you're thinking of?
That's the one, yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, we need a few of him going around.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I'm not serious.
No.
I'm not serious.
No. Look, one of the things we do on the Jeff Taylor Chance, we say things that are very not serious, and we express emotions because venting stuff is good for us. Believe me, because what we've got right now is you've got a lot of people otherwise bottling a lot of anger up, and that's not good. Yeah, we know what comes of that. We've got to be human at some point. Talk. This is what people used to go to the pub and talk things out and speak. You know, people could afford to go to the pub. Now you can't afford to do anything.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, Gary. Thank you, Gary.
Anyway, the Crowborough Patrol spokesperson said the following. Our aim is simple. Be visible and a deterrent. Over the coming weeks and months, and who knows, maybe years, you will see us strolling around Crowborough, taking in the sights of the hotspots. We aim to be visible during the morning and afternoon school runs in term time and as the evening sets in each day. We are not here to confront. We are here as local residents, concerned for the welfare of our town and hopefully make a difference between unwanted activity and a peaceful place to continue living. And that's exactly why they say they're doing what they're doing. So yeah, it's not anything to do with confrontation or racism or anything like that. They are concerned for their community. So it's, yeah. Oh dear, look at this. Hilda Bell says the Christian thing to do would be crusade. Oh, we can't possibly think about that sort of thing. We need to, yeah.
Hang on a second, Jeff. I'll tell you, we talk a lot of, let's just say the Crusades. There's been a lot of interesting videos I've been watching on YouTube about the Crusades, okay? And we've been sold a very different version of the Crusades than what actually happened, with no context of the background of what happened during those Crusades. Don't get me wrong. When you get men together with swords and weapons, terrible things happen on all sides. All sides, right? But there's a lot to suggest that the Crusades that took place are not what we think. And probably, well, to be honest with you, Jeff, you and I would not be Christian right now were it not for the Crusades. Christendom itself was defended during the Crusades. Certain ideologies were held back because of the Crusades. Now, I'm not saying we should have a crusade per se against one religion against another. I'm not asking for that. No, not whatsoever on the Jeff Taylor channel. However, let's look at the Crusades for what they were. And I do recommend people look at the Crusades up online. And you will find initially, once you get through all the left-wing bias, you will find some very interesting things said about the Crusades by real historians, people who go back to the source data. I can't remember. There's one chap I've been watching recently who's absolutely brilliant. Ibrahim, I think is. I can't remember. He's of Egyptian descent. A brilliant man. Brilliant. Sorry, Jeff, carry on.
That's all right. You know, it's good to talk about these things. Anyway, that comment by this spokesperson leads me to think that these local residents have absolutely no faith in the establishment authorities, such as the police, of being able to protect them from any bad apples in the bunch that inhabit that new camp. And that's the real problem for me, is that people just assume, oh, it's just them being different. No, they go about, if they thought that everything would be fine, they would just go about their lives. But they are listening to what other people have been through and don't want to go through that themselves. Why should they? Why should they have to put up with that just because a government says, oh, you've got to take your fair share of the world's population? Well, what fair share? What's all this about? You know, if other people in other countries go around doing nasty things, what is that to do with us? Really, to be honest, what is that to do with us?
So, comment here from Care Bear 04. Richard, please refrain from censoring your vocabulary. Those days are gone. Please speak freely. I wish I could. The thing is, I got a bit more of a target on my back, and Jeff and myself do, than a lot of other people do. So we have to, unfortunately. The days of speaking freely are not here fully. Some people get away with it. But Jeff and myself, we cannot. And that says a lot, really. You can say a lot. You can say a lot of things which are misogynistic, we'll say, depending on your perspective. You genuinely, online, on YouTube, you can say things that are misogynistic, deeply misogynistic. But it depends on the perspective that you're coming from. Read into that what you will, actually. and read and have a little think about what that perspective might be, which is awful. But these are things that can happen. You can be homophobic. You can say things which are homophobic if it comes from a certain perspective, that is. All these things are deplorable. But these are things that are happening right now. So, gosh, I wish I could say many of the things I've got in my mind. What I've got in my, I'll tell you now, even if I was to speak everything I want to say, I can tell you now, it wouldn't be racist. It wouldn't be misogynistic. It would be none of those things. But it would be deemed as of a different kind of discrimination. And that would get me into deep hot water, even though technically it is something I could say. But there's such a grey area right now, especially without trial by jury. That's the other side of it. Why do you think Lammy's getting rid of it? Jeff?
Yes, good point. And there is a word that you and I can't speak, but people of a certain demographic can speak it. They can sing it, they can rap it, they can call each other it with no problem at all. And they take it as a badge of honour when they say it and receive it. But from one of us, it would be seen as the end of the world. And it's things like that. And thank you, Jonathan Albridge. I try to express my anger with my parents, but they never listen. And they are post-war boomers. Yeah, actually, a lot of post-war boomers, they came out of the war and they just totally believe things like the BBC. If the BBC says something, that's it. As far as they're concerned, the rest of it's lies, because they had to trust the BBC and the state to survive during the Second World War and then afterwards through the Cold War. And everything for them is built upon that trust. The rest of us have just just looked at it and went, God, I don't trust this bunch of heathens, you know. Yes. And thank you, Guitar George. You Brits need to stop being so polite. Yeah, and we need to stop being so ruddy, tolerant of everybody. Oh, look, I've got doormat written on my back. You know, that's where we're at now. That's where this country is at. I got doormat written on my back. I'm so inclusive and so tolerant. You're stupid. Stupid.
No, it's not stupid. It's dangerous is what that is. It's bloody dangerous. Okay, here's something. Now then, everyone on the left, right, they seem to think it's okay. It's fine to discriminate against people who are right-wing or even far-right. You can discriminate. Here's the thing. So, is it okay then to be nasty to people who are far-right? Okay, now I'm not far-right. I don't like the far-right personally, and the far-right don't like me. But I'd probably dislike the far-left a hell of a lot more. And they absolutely loathe and despise me, which is fine by me as well. You know, the thing is, if you're anywhere on the political spectrum that isn't far this or far that, you're hated. But the far left hate the far right hate the far left. I couldn't give a flying f, to be honest with you. I had a discussion today in a local shop where the lady said that she's green and she's very left-wing, and said it as if being left-wing was something to be admired, and it was almost like a way of virtue signalling. Because I won't identify personally, I have done occasionally, but in reality, I'm not right-wing. I'm not left-wing. I'm no wing. That you can take your wings, you can rip them off, and you can go and off, right? Because what works for the country? What works? Oh, having a little bit of this nationalised might work. All right, fair enough. But just as long as the government leaves me the alone, okay? Go away. I'm not interested in your laws, to be honest with you, most of the things that you come up with. Because they're not Christian laws. They're not based on anything other than empty, nihilistic secularism and socialism and communism. And here's another one. Capitalism. If it's got an ism in front of it, I go, okay, well, what's that then? Capitalism. Who invented that? Capitalism only existed when somebody was able to coin a term for what was going on for a very long time. Everything became pigeonholed, and I've had a bloody enough of it. All this bull nonsense about, political parties being left-wing, right-wing. Oh, shut up. Just get on with the job and do what's right for the people of Britain. End of.
Yes, and even capitalism is an ism, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is an
Yeah.
ism. Yeah.
Now, there is a grassroots organisation called Crowborough Shield, and it's so far raised £60,000 to fund legal action against the Home Office, which has taken over the site from the MOD. And some residents are said to be installing panic alarms, like Richard said, in their homes. So things aren't exactly hunky-dory, are they? While the UK government is spending billions every year on welcoming unvetted and undocumented young fighting-age men into the country, as well as allowing them to lecture us on human rights from within a BBC Question Time audience. All while ordinary Brits face crippling taxes, a huge cost of living crisis, and accusations of bigotry when they voice their proper concerns. They're not allowed to even raise them, to talk about them. And when you can't talk about these sorts of things, then other things will happen. That's the message that the government has got to hoist in. Yes.
Yeah, sorry, Jeff.
Anyway.
That one person I was speaking to, that lady I was speaking to in the shop today, I spoke about free speech, and she said that she was left-wing. I said, well, I'm not left-wing, but there we go. And I said, well, I do believe in free speech. She said, yes, well, the press have made a lot about this free speech thing. It's not true. There is free speech in Britain. And I thought, they've done a number on you. They really have. I mean, if you think that free speech exists in Britain on both sides of the political spectrum, you've got another thing coming. Sorry, in Advance UK, I've got to have my say on this, okay? There was a thing the other day, I saw it on YouTube with Advance UK, and this lady got up and she started speaking. She started criticising Israeli money going into, and the impact of it on lobbying and NGOs, etc., etc. And a lot of people there just told her to shut up and sit down. And I thought, point one, she shouldn't have been there. But at the same time, yeah, let her have her say and debate her. If we talk about being free, pro freedom of speech, let's be pro freedom of speech. Let's anticipate the far left coming in with their ideology, people who want to say X, Y, and Z about anything, right? If they want to criticize Israel, I didn't agree with what that woman said, by the way, and but she had the right to say it, and I thought, okay, and I thought Ben Habib dealt with that so well. Fair play to him. I was like, wow, he did a masterclass there, because he just said, look, we have to be very careful to find out where money is coming from and who's been what organizations are being funded by that money. And he was brilliant. He just shot the whole thing down in flames. But in general, all of us need to start thinking and start saying, okay, we're going to come up with these. We're going to encounter these arguments. Let's not be hypocrites here. Let's have debate, hard debate, face to face with people. I mean, yes, Charlie Kirk may have said about Israeli money from secularist Jews, by the way. That's another thing entirely, which is worth mentioning. Okay, fine. That was what he wanted to say. And that might have upset some people. And, did it cost him his life? I don't think that's what cost him his life. I could be wrong. Who knows what cost him his life? I do know this. There's evil out there. And the one thing which Charlie Kirk did was he went face to face with those people who disagreed with him, who disagreed entirely with his worldview, and he debated with them, and he spoke with them. And we all have to do that. And there's none of this blah, because the one thing the left are not very good at is being able to debate back. And that's why a lot of them go blah, blah, blah. You've seen these demonstrations, and they say, it's like if Tommy Robinson, for instance, went up to somebody there and said, with a microphone, do you mind if I interview? Do you mind speaking? Said, no, we're not talking to you. We don't speak to you. You're far right. We don't speak to you. It's like, what? Engage with him. Speak to him. Correct him. If you think he's racist, if you think he's X, Y, and Z, then correct him if you can. Debate. Otherwise,
if
change
you
your
can.
mind.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Otherwise, change your mind based on the information you're being presented with. I hope that I haven't got enough pride in me that I will not change my mind if I am presented with facts which totally destroy my own personal worldview. Jeff.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely true. And you're absolutely right. Every time I've come across the left, they just shout, they try and block you. The classic example is on X or whatever you want to call it. They come in, they leave a comment, you say something, leave a comment underneath and then block you so you can't reply. And you just think, what was all that about? Why did you even bother? And it's sort of just like they do it to annoy and all the rest of it. And now, just so you know that Advance UK has now been registered by the Electoral Commission. They are a political party in England, Scotland and Wales, and I'm assuming the Northern Ireland registration will follow because they've applied for registration there as well, and that's a separate procedure. So they will stand candidates when they can, and people can start voting for them as a full-on political party. Now, someone says here that Rupert Lowe gives his MP wages to charity. Does Ben? Ben isn't actually an MP. He's not been voted in, so he's not in the House of Commons. He doesn't get an MP's wages to donate to anybody. I don't know what his plans are if he gets elected.
Hang on, Jeff.
He might do the same.
Well, he is an MP right now, Rupert Lowe.
No, Rupert Lowe is, but Ben isn't.
Yeah. Oh no, Ben isn't.
Ben Habib isn't.
Sorry. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear you then. Sorry,
yeah.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff. I got a buzzing in my
audio.
I have a genuine buzzing in my audio. I don't know what's going on. I might have to switch to the bigger headphones. Carry on, Jeff.
Right.
Carry on.
Yeah. Sorry.
My stupidity.
Yeah.
Or technical issues.
Technical issues. Yeah. And someone points out here, you cannot be racist against a religion. Absolutely right. Whichever religion it is.
Yeah, you can't. No.
A religion is a set of ideas and beliefs, and
Jeff,
it's not a religion.
To suggest that you can be racist against a religion is in its own right a very, very racist thing to do and say. It is, because it's just saying that only certain people of certain demographics can be part of that religion. And it is so equated with one specific racial demographic that, my days. Oh.
Yeah.
So there you go, lefties. Have a think on that one.
Yeah. Thank you, A. Fenner. Seen a video of Khan Carol singing He Looks Lost. I watched that, and do you know something? It was quite funny because I saw it on X, and then they compared it with what happened during Ramadan and how absolutely into it was. But the comments under that from his supporters were, well, he is a Muslim, so you would expect that. And I went straight in there and said, thank you for that confirmation. I therefore can be super exuberant about my flags, my religion, my country, and my heritage and my culture above all others, can't I? If that's your thinking, then I can do the same.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Absolutely spot on. No, I mean, I was watching it, and you see, yes, you saw him when it came to singing. I mean, this is the Mayor of London, for sake. The Mayor of London should be, I don't care what religion he is, he should submit to the dominant religion of the country, which is Christianity. And that's not racist and any ismist or anything. It is simply what should be done. Because this country and the position of His Majesty the King is legitimized through Christianity. Our constitution is based on Christianity. As soon as you start not giving that preference, all of a sudden you delegitimize yourself. So thus, I'm only saying this for Sadiq Khan's sake. No, but when you saw him with the Ramadan, I thought he was going to, good grief, he was so excited, I thought he was going to get sticky underwear. I thought, my goodness, look at him. Look at him go.
Oh, dear me.
Well, exactly. We wouldn't want that now, would we, Jeff? Absolutely not.
No.
Jeff, carry on.
Yes, so absolutely. So we should, if that's the way that people feel about Sadiq Khan being full of exuberance for his own, then I can be full of exuberance and shout from the rooftops about what I believe, and no one can stop me. And that's the end of it. Here's another good comment. Thank you, Black Nothing. Jesus said to love thy neighbour. He never said anything about being a doormat or submissive to your neighbour's evil intentions. No, absolutely not. In fact, it puts the onus on the guest to be very polite to the person who's accepted them in. There is an onus on them to be polite, not to try and take advantage. If anyone starts to take advantage, you just throw them out. That's what we should be doing. Just throw them out.
Totally.
And thank you, Jonathan Aldridge. Capitalism is an unhelpful noun for an economic system which relies on the generation of wealth through acquiring assets. But yes, the name is silly. Yeah, it's See, the trouble is that everybody says that it's either capitalism or it's socialism. It's the twain shall meet. We're either all employed by the state or no one, and all this garbage. And a capitalism does actually, if you think about it, it has to have some form of socialism or social conscience in it to be a successful capitalist society.
Yeah, well,
otherwise, Richard and I have debated this a lot, because otherwise what happens is you revert automatically to crony capitalism. As soon as you allow it to run rife with no social conscience, you end up with what we are on the verge always of becoming: crony capitalism.
Well, the thing is, I'm not a capitalist. I will not be subject to that term. And here's a good reason why. I knew the answer to this, but you really actually find out where the term capitalism comes from. That's why I won't describe myself as a capitalist. It was coined by the French socialist Louis Blanc in 1850 to describe the appropriation of capital by the few to the exclusion of the many. The term was used by anti-capitalist thinkers like Blanc and Pierre-Joseph Proudhon to criticize the system. Exactly. You see, we have a terminology which was created in order to criticize the mechanics within a system that were pre-existing. Now, there are many ways. Yes, I mean, you can say that multi-generational passing down of assets equates to capitalism. It's like, no, not necessarily. That is something which occurs during any society. That can even happen within a socialist society, believe it or not, if you know how to game the system. And it is all about gaming the system because, yes, Jeff, as we said, with capitalism, the default setting is crony capitalism. That's what it'll always come back down to. And with communism, the default of that is always some kind of tyrannical corruption. People are people. So we need to get real about this. And what you do is, the only way to deal with this is to just create the democratic chain, make it much smaller, and create a democratic system which is at a pitchfork's distance away from you. You know, like you are answerable to me. I can see you with the whites of my eyes, not somebody miles away or in Brussels or wherever. This is where you create smaller. Yeah, I believe in just getting rid of half the bloody laws. We pay our tax towards, if we pay tax towards very basic things like the infrastructure of the country that allows capitalism to exist. I've had enough of this capitalism conversation. Jeff, move on.
Yes, we have lots of conversations like that because it's either crony capitalism or crony communism. It doesn't matter what you do, it always ends up that way. That's why you need a reset every 4 or 5 years, and that was the whole idea of democracy. But that doesn't seem to work now because we've invented a thing called the civil service to run it instead. Yes, anyway, thank you, Gary Plain. He's pointing out I meant a Xmas Brucey bonus, lads. Right, okay.
Thank you for your Brucey bonus
Magic
there. Gary.
Beans, stay strong, everyone. Good health. So thank you very much, Magic Beans.
Thank you, Magic Beans.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed.
Oh, look, here we go. From one of the previous conversations, Carla Andrews says, oh, surprise, boomers that can't see what's happening. My mother's the same. Yes, yeah, the trust. And you've got to remember, that's the generation that put their trust and queued up at 2 meters distance at every social centre in the country, didn't they? And lined up. and rolled up their sleeves, unquestioningly.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to get back to task. Now, talking about Crowborough and the camp there, 600 people they've got there, but you do realise that's not just 600 people they go through and the camp gets shut. No, it's just a sausage machine. And when each one of them has been rubber stamped into the local community as upstanding citizens, another 600 or more will obviously replace them. But where will those who are let out or who are given asylum, where are they going to live? We don't have a sufficient number of houses for ourselves, let alone to gift them with. And just when we hear that London's house building cannot keep pace with demand because there's not enough electricity generation, yes, they've had to put on hold loads of building projects because they can't wire them up to the electric grid because the grid hasn't got enough electricity to supply them with. But we now find that the government wants to build electricity-sucking data centres all around London to produce an AI growth boom. And here's what the Telegraph said. Starmer's data centre blitz threatens Khan's housing plan. London needs to build an extra 88,000 homes a year amid an affordability crisis. So basically, we are bringing people into the country that need houses, but what's going to happen is that data centres with AI in them will take precedence. Now, I do remember saying in a previous video that AI would soon be taking precedence over humans exactly for that electrical reason. And it's not just the electricity, it's also the amount of water they use. But there is that water that's used to cool these data centres could be repurposed to heat homes in the local district. But all that's happened is that this has now pushed Brits down into third place behind AI and the protected by law newcomers. And what do you think about that?
What do I think about that? Well, okay, this takes me back to a conversation we had earlier, Jeff. We keep talking about tax, money and all this, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Capitalism, going back to capitalism for a moment, will be gone within 10 years. It won't exist anywhere on earth. There will be no capitalism. There will be no communism. There will be no socialism. All of it will be gone. There will be AI, and that's it. And I don't care if you like, oh, I'm shutting off. I'm not listening to hear about more AI. AI is taking jobs at a record pace at the moment. And it's going to continue. And eventually it'll start taking the manual jobs as well through these robots which are being built right now. I think they're starting to scale up to the millions and tens of millions. And that's going to be scary for the workforce. You just got to think of it like this. If you sit by a computer and your job requires you using a computer, your job will be gone within probably about 5 years. You know, you won't have a job. Most people won't have a job within 3 years that is computer dependent. That's quite terrifying. That is quite terrifying. And that's what we got coming. You know, we can just we can put our heads in the sand. Oh, I don't like this. It's like, it's coming. You don't like it, tough. We don't like the amount of people who are coming to this country unvetted. They're not going to be the biggest problem before long. And you think, well, you know, don't say that. You know, I'm sorry, you know, but this is a very big issue for me. All these people are entering this country illegally. Yeah, me too. But it's not our biggest problem. And that's the worrying thing. We got something else much bigger as a problem coming along the tracks. You can see the train coming towards us, and we're like, no, let's just look over here. It's still quite a way down the line. No, it'll be fine. We'll be all right. Something will come along. Something will change. Reform will get in, for instance, and everything will change. No. Reform are not going to stop AI, Jeff.
Yes. MG Betts says, Tommy Robinson's Party Advice UK, Advance UK actually, or something, are perfect for splitting the far-right pro-Zionist vote. Well done, gents. Big grin. Do you know something? I think the left have got it even worse with your party and the Greens and the Labour Party and the Lib Dems all fighting amongst themselves like rats in a sack. And when your party are having such a wonderful opening, rally or whatever you want to call it, conference, I mean, you can see exactly what the left is made of, can't you? I honestly think at some stage or other, I think it'll happen out of necessity that the centre-right will come together in some form or another in order to make this work. Because they're made up of businessmen, reality people who have been in the real world. They haven't been in the rarefied atmosphere of party political. I'm a party political worker, and I got my way through the through the unions, and now I'm a senior politician, but I know nothing about the real world. But that doesn't matter, No, it's yeah. Yeah, they took advantage of our goodwill and used it against us. Well, that's the government for a start, and international bodies as well. Yeah. Yes, I'm afraid they couldn't run up in a brewery. Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of people out there in government, especially. Internal war is coming, says Casey XXX.
Yes.
I'm hoping not, but every day I look at it and I just see governments and ministers, politicians who have just set in their ways. They're just set in their ways. They cannot think outside of the box. Their only box is, if someone wants to come in, we've got to let them because we did in the past, we better do it now. They cannot think outside the box. They cannot do extrapolations on spreadsheets. They cannot see if the population keeps rising at this rate and then measure it against how much debt. The debt goes up as we import people. Have you noticed that? The more people we let in, the higher the debt goes. Have they not married the two together? They keep saying, oh no, if we bring lots of people in, then it'll boost growth. But it never boosts growth, does it? The only thing that grows is our debt pile, which we've got to pay off at some stage or other. Well, we probably haven't, because the whole system's going to collapse. As Richard said, as AI comes in, at the point when AI is now giving you what you want because there's a load of abundance, who needs to save? Who needs a pension? Who needs to invest money? What's money? It's all for free. If that comes, there'll be no money, there'll be no power and no control by humans in any shape or form.
The thing which we spoke about earlier, which not many people are talking about. For instance, if you're in the hospitality trade and you like to go out and eat out, and so you think, oh, I know, I'll set my own restaurant up. There's a gap in the market here for cooking X, Y, and Z. These AI robots, which are being set to, don't forget that's what they are. They are AI robots. They are physical embodiments of AI. These Optimuses, once they are unleashed on the public, they will be able to come into your home. First of all, they show these videos of them folding clothes and, boiling an egg and all this. Those are some of the most basic of things they can do. These things would be able to do open heart surgery better than any surgeon within probably 5 years. That's the level of their dexterity and the data set in which they're trained on. They're trained on so many operations. They will have witnessed operations, maneuvers of hands during operations, and they will be able to do it far better than any human. But they will also be, though, it'll be like having a Michelin star chef in your kitchen every day. Think about that for a moment. And these things, do you know how much they cost? Was it estimated at £20,000? £20,000, I think, $20,000 for one of these Optimus robots. And you think, well, that's a lot of money. You go, well, actually, there's a lot of cars out there are a damn sight more expensive. It can work for you. It can do multiple tasks. It doesn't require, as long as it's got its battery charged every however often, it'll keep going. It won't stop. It won't complain. And it'll keep working. It'll keep being productive. You could go to bed one night and when you wake up in the morning, your entire house has been painted by this thing. or it's just built an extension at the back for you with, if you say, had a few social credit tokens and were able to pull in more of these robots to help on a building project. The way we perceive reality and the workforce and the home is about to change in ways that are indescribable. The old system, things are going to get very bloody weird. And somebody put earlier on in a comment, I hate AI and AI music. Yeah, me too. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's weird. And I've seen some things come out of AI art and AI video that are they're so disturbing. They are hell-like in how grotesque they are. I'm not talking about being just nasty. I'm just talking about where nature itself and reality is warped. And I want to use
but guess what, Richard?
I can't.
But guess what? Just like in this country, when loads of newcomers come in, you go around London, you hear different music, stuff that I'm not saying it's bad, good, or indifferent. It's just different to what I was normally expect, and it sounds out of place to me. But you get used to it, and we will all get used to AI. We will. Most people will lap it up.
There's a very big difference here between music that I dislike, for instance. Nobody hates rap, for instance, more than me, and different types of music. There's loads of genres of music that I despise, okay? But they were made by humans, nonetheless. There's some soul and spirit behind it at point of origin. With AI music, there's something that is so dark, so evil, you emotionally cannot connect with it in the same way. There's a darkness to it that cannot be described. And the same with AI art. It is a creation that has come from a point of no soul. And that's what makes you realize that the soul is something that exists. So in a way, AI is doing a great job in shining a light and saying, look, that's what emptiness looks like. That's what your secularist world will produce. It'll look like it. It'll sound like it, but it will never truly feel like it. It will always be counterfeit to that created by a human being made in the image of God. Jeff.
Yeah. But as ever, humans get used to things, and I think most people will.
I disagree. They will not get used to AI music. They will. There is something built into us. There was a point of origin. I don't care. A point of origin, there's a human. Even if you despise the music, and you can get... It's like, I've never got used to listening to rap. There's nothing you can do to get me used to and expecting that. Yes, people are listening to it now. There's a novelty aspect. But even on people who are listening to it as a novelty, there's something in their spirit going, no. And especially if those people are Christian, for instance, and they have the Spirit of God within them, then they cannot listen to it. They know that this stuff is coming straight from the pit of hell. And yes, I know people said that about rock and roll music when Elvis came out, and they were burning Elvis records, yes. But you want to know something? And this is from somebody who played in a band with Elvis's old drummer and has been on stage with members of Elvis's band. I can tell you this, right? I know the rock and roll music was seen as demonic, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? Did they have a point, those people who said that, about the music? Did they actually have a point? Because you listen to, what was the point of it? What are you singing about? Are you singing... And the same could be said for other forms of music as well, incidentally, that predate rock and roll music. Jeff?
Yes, no, I just stick with it. I just think that people... They are lapping this stuff up right now. Why do you think they're having all these data centers built? Because it's doubling all the time. More and more people are watching this shorthand 8-second stuff. Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! Look at that! Oh, look at that!
Yeah, but it's
all
gone.
Over the place.
No, yeah, it's also people. It was at a novelty value. It had and when it first came up, people were like, "Wow, look at that! That's incredibly clever," and it is incredibly clever. And it is amazing. Listen to that. It sounds just like a human. Oh, my goodness. And then you share it and you play it to people and the people go, yes, oh, isn't that clever? That's really good. But that's about the extent of it. There's an initial point of impression where you go, wow. And then you go, right, you can keep that. You can keep that. Because there's no emotion, there's no depth. Yeah, no, there's no emotional connection. How can you have an emotional connection with something which is dead? And it feels spiritually dead.
You won't soon be able to tell the difference, mate. Anyway,
you will.
XX Care Bear says AI stops humans from thinking. Come on, yeah, that's an obvious thing because you won't have to think for yourself ever again. You will never have to struggle for anything. Everything will be served to you on a platter, a gold one, whatever type of platter you want, it will be served to you. And your brain will just atrophy unless AI recognizes that humans need strife, hardship, and all the rest. So we may already be living in it. You never know. But there you go.
Well, that's what Elon Musk seems to think. He questions whether we are in baseline reality at all, and the probability that we're in baseline reality is astronomically low, apparently. I'm not so sure on that one myself, though. Again, AI can only do so much. It cannot. It can emulate and it can synthesize, but it cannot truly, and I mean truly, create. It cannot create anything new. It can copy and emulate and hybridize, for instance, but it cannot come out with something absolutely brand new. I have never heard a new sound or come from AI that I'd never heard before. A new form of art. I've even asked it to various AIs, produce me something new. Come on, give me this new audio. This is something which is I've never seen before or heard before. It cannot do it. It can copy, it can emulate, it can hybridize, but it will not be original, you know. And I give you an example of that. Go on.
Do you know something? That sounds exactly like Hollywood today.
Yes, well, most of Hollywood today is written by AI. The scripts are. The whole concept of it. We are looking at a system which is... Look, we haven't come up with anything new since the Greeks. I mean, was there 3 or 4 different types of theatre, and every permutation thereof has been already done by the Greeks. It was a comedy, tragedy, blah, 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 blah. And the story arcs have not changed since the time of the Greeks. That's the way that art goes. Yeah.
Yes, as A. Fenner says, did we not learn from 2001 A Space Odyssey? Yes.
Oh, what a film. Terrifying
that was
film,
an absolute
actually.
groundbreaking film, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yes. Yeah. And the Black Nothing says, the sin of sloth is combated with diligence. Yes. I would say the sin of sloth is combated with hard bloody grind, forced on you, because if it's not forced on humans, they won't do it. Why would they do it? What would they rather do? Sit round on a sofa, eating a pizza and watching eternal Netflix? Or going out and having to plough a field? You know,
thing is, though, Jeff, most of the world can't sit down. Most of the world can't sit down and watch Netflix. Most of the world, believe it or not, doesn't get 3 square meals a day. Most of the world doesn't get 1 meal a day. That's another thing to remember. We've just got this version in the West through, and I will say, our lives of privilege in the West. We do have, in many respects, privileged lives on the backs of experts. I'm not so sure on that one. Granted, there are countries which are exploited, but I think that we have a form of control that has come down through moral degradation. And that then has manifested in our bread and circuses are just more effective. That's the way it's been set up, the whole system. The whole system does need to come crashing down. I believe that fully. What we have is a control system that is utterly deplorable, used and designed to make people into useless eaters. And that's exactly what we are. But... in terms of struggle and in terms of thinking that if we're asking, we can't moralize saying, oh, people will just have pizza and Netflix. Some people in this world would die tomorrow to have pizza and Netflix, and the impact that would have upon them, because they have nothing else. They've got nothing where they are. So to them, pizza and Netflix would be a luxury and something to aspire to and attain. You know, There are so many different facets to morality right now and this world and how it manifests, because we just need to do one thing, and that's get ourselves reorientated back to Christ. That's the first thing. Everything else is just meaningless, utterly meaningless. There's no meaning in the world other than beyond that. And by the way, I don't like Netflix. I hate it.
No, but when you say that these people will never, once AI has taken over our lives, it won't just stop with us. Why would it just give us what we want? It will give everyone on the planet what it wants.
Oh, correct. Yes, it would. Yes.
So they won't. They will have Netflix and pizza.
Yes,
they will have whatever they like.
But that's better than what they've got now. That's my point. It's a for most people, Netflix and pizza is a better way of life. Yeah.
I'm not arguing with that. But Netflix and pizza is not going to advance humanity. I'm sorry, it isn't. Especially if Netflix
that doesn't matter.
And pizza is made by AI.
That doesn't matter. When you're not you and your child haven't eaten for a week or two, and somebody says, "Would you like Netflix and pizza every day?" They go, "Yes, please. That is an advancement to my life."
Yeah, I'm not
it's
saying
all done
that.
To perception. It's all done to perception.
The advancement would last for a couple of months until they just became like the rest of us, sofa potatoes or whatever you want to call it.
Well, that would be better than what they are. That would be better than where they were.
It still doesn't advance the human race at all from that point on.
Nothing advances the human race other than Christianity. Nothing does. Never has done. The Western society was not built upon materialism. It was not built upon anything other than that which Christianity pulled together. Well, this is why you look around the world at other cultures. They never attained what what Christendom attained. They never got close to it, and that's where that's the issue. This is why so many parts of this world are so deprived. They didn't fully embrace Christianity. I'm not saying every part of the world that has embraced Christianity is in living a life of luxury. There are other factors at play. For instance, let's take a look at the Middle East, and you can look at countries like Libya, Jordan as well, incidentally, Iraq, Syria, Egypt were all Christian countries once upon a time. All of them. And they were halcyon days for those countries as well. Now look at them. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some people would disagree with you. But someone does point out that where robots are concerned, James Sheffield says a wife with a volume button does sound rather nice, to be fair. Right, there we go. The first misogynist, the first misogynist statement of the day. It's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. It's a joke.
I'm sure every wife would say a husband with a volume button would be nice as well. My wife certainly would. And she's watching this and she's playing like this. Yes, I can see you, darling. I can see you. Yes, I can see you. Yes. Yeah, cuts both ways.
And three-stranded cord says, Robocop, you have 20 seconds to comply. There you go. That will be your new legal. Oh, well, it'll either be that or Judge Dredd, won't it? Just turning up. We have found you guilty and blast you into the next world. Yes.
I don't think it'd be anything like that. It won't. No. Why would they need to do that? Where they can just cut off your social credits and yeah.
Yes. Right. Anyway, Richard, I think we bleated on enough. People have probably got Christmas parties to go to, don't you reckon?
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yeah. So,
right, okay, well, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Yeah,
come on then, Richard.
I'm going to do it. It's my turn. Quiet, piggy. Right, so. Right, ladies and gentlemen. And unfortunately, it has come to my attention that many of you watching this haven't pressed the like button. Yes, that's right. You know, don't look away. Don't look like a naughty doggy looking over in the... Press the like button, please. And, hang on. As well, just some data coming in. Most of you watching this video right now aren't subscribed to the channel. Well, I say, you rotters. Now there's a subscribe button. Go on your phone, go to the Jeff Taylor channel. If you're watching this on your telly, or go to the Jeff Taylor channel on your phone, and Jeff with a J, and press the like button first, then the subscribe button, and press the all option. That would be wonderful if you could do that, because I mean that really would mean a lot. And yeah, the all option, because then you get notified each time you put a new video out, because a lot of you right now are not getting the notifications because you haven't pressed the all option. And then there are the elite of the Jeff Taylor channel, the absolute creme de la creme. And those are the people who become channel members. Now, you do get a bit of extra content every week, usually, and it massively helps the channel. And all those people who help us via PayPal and Patreon, thank you as well. And God bless you.
Yeah.
Because what we do costs money and time as well. Our lives, basically. Our lives. This is our life. This is our life. This is all we got. And so thank you to all those people, because what you do makes a difference. So over to you, Mr. Jeff Taylor.
Yeah. Yes, and I just want to say thank you to Alfred Shaw. Thank you, chaps, for being such gentlemen. Happy Christmas. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you, Alfred, and God bless you, and you have a happy Christmas. And all of you, we've got Christmas coming up, and we will be continuing to miss you. A Merry Christmas, and we want to celebrate this time because it's important. This is the time which is mostly celebrated, other than the Orthodox faith, but that's coming up, and we'll celebrate that too, when people remember our Lord Jesus Christ and his coming to the earth, where he changed everything. Your life right now was changed by Jesus Christ coming into this world. Do not doubt it. Trust me, do not doubt it. That's another conversation, and that's actually a good idea. And what's this here? Why do bald men grow facial hair? Because we can. Because we can. And because we have to have it somewhere above the neck. It has to go somewhere.
Yes.
Over to you, Jeff.
And the eyebrows don't cut it.
No.
Yes. And on that note, I'm going to say that it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him, the living legend that is Mr. Jeff Taylor.